Hello YouTube, Knife Critics here. Today I'm gonna talk about the Benchmade the mini-dejavoo. Okay, it's listed as a Benchmade model 745. This is the mini-dejavoo, but as you can see, it's not very mini. It's actually a fairly decent sized knife. Go over a few dimensions first. The blade length is 3.23 inches. Blade thickness is about 0.114 inches, and the handle thickness is 0.650 inches. Okay, the blade material it's made out of, as you can see here, S30V steel. Okay, and it's pretty much a full flat ground. It has a bit of a false edge here on the spine, but not much. It's pretty much a full flat grind. Now the construction of it's interesting. On the scale, on the outside, it's G10. The liner here on this side, like on the non-locking side, it's a 420J steel liner. Okay, and as you can see here, it's got cutouts to reduce the weight. And the locking side, the liner on the locking side, is actually a titanium. Okay, and so yeah, it's a beautiful looking knife. Appearance wise, it's a very beautiful looking knife. I mean, just the way the lines flow, like there's no interruption. It's just very sort of smooth lines. I mean, look at this thing, it's beautiful. And Lum is a very famous knife maker, knife designer too, and he's passed away. He designed knives for both Benchmade and Spartacle, and he also made his own custom knives, but he has passed away a while ago. So now this knife, I'm gonna again, as usual, go over a few good things and a few bad things. Good things including the looks, the blade, the sharpness is really good. The coating that Benchmade use is actually very good. Like I sometimes use this. I put this in my pocket, right? And I'll have my keys in the same pocket, and they will rub against the finish on the black finish here, and the um, the bronze keys will actually leave a mark on the blade, but it's actually a rub mark. Like the bronze would stick to the coating, and you can just rub it off. So the coating is very strong, but as obviously you can see here, this is not a brand new knife. I've used it quite a bit, and you can see from the wear in the tip here. And I've also reprofiled the edge here. I'm gonna talk about that later. Um, yeah, the good point is it's a very beautiful knife, and the lock, the liner lock is silky smooth. Like there's almost no resistance. Like you can almost like flick it out. You know, I don't. Yeah, it's very smooth opening. And the G10 material is, again, I've used it quite a bit. It doesn't show wear at all. It does not. Okay. This is, I have a lot of knives. For those of you that don't know, I have a lot of knives. And this is one of my most carried knives, as you can see from the use it got. Um, Now the good points is that, more good points is that it uses premium material. S30V, very good material, good blade material. G10, titanium and steel. You know, exotic materials, and it's got washers, phosphorus bronze washers. I don't know if you can see here, but that just makes sure that the opening, you know, the operation of the knife is super smooth. Okay. Now, being I am a knife critic, I have to say there's quite a few things to improve on this knife here. Although I love it to death and I used it a lot, there's a few things to improve. Okay. First of all, it's not really ambidextrous. It's pretty much right-handed only. Like if you want to use left-handed, it's close to impossible. Like I mean, I'm not left-handed, but yeah, it's not very ambidextrous. It's pretty much a right-handed knife. So if you're left-handed, then you're, you know, shit out of luck. Okay. Another thing I don't really like is the tip down carry. This thing is a tip down carry only, and you don't have the option of moving it to other positions. Like again, it's not very ambidextrous friendly. So you're stuck with tip down right-handed only. Okay. Yeah, just like the military. I don't know why they wouldn't draw a few holes. I mean, it's easily done here. The one, although the clip design is interesting because it allows you to access the pivot screw to adjust it for how hard or how tight you want the blade, which is good. That's a good feature for the clip. But speaking of the clip, I don't know what it is. It looks to be a good design, the clip itself. But when you actually use it, like when I put it in my pocket like so, right? And I drive a small car. It's a Honda Civic. And sometimes when I exit the car, the clip will catch onto the steering wheel. Like as I exit, like my hip, as it turns, it will catch on the steering wheel. So as you can see here, it's right now it's not. It's got like it's got a gap between the clip and the G10. That's from the clip catching the steering wheel and getting pulled out. You know. So and not only that, not only does this damage the clip itself, it damaged the steering wheel. Like my steering wheel is leather wrapped, and now it's got like a whole bunch of you know, scratches on the steering wheel. So I don't know. I think I like the wire clip on the say Kelly 3 better, Kelly 3 or the Sage 3. The wire clips never had that problem with those, but the clip here I always have a problem with it. Now the other thing, I don't know if you can see here, it's not very obvious right now, but the blade is not exactly centered. Like I can make it centered, I can adjust the pivot screw and whatnot to make it centered, but after a while it gets pushed off to the side. It's a very common problem with liner locks. Like as you can see, when the liner locks, even with the blade closed, it has a tension that wants to push the blade the other way. So you know, when you open and close a lot and the pivot screw gets loose a little bit, then the blade gets pushed off to the other side. So as you can see from the finished wear here, that's from, you know, the blade being offside and probably, you know, hitting things like keys and whatnot. So this is the damage that's showing from the blade hitting the liner. Okay, so I don't know how they can improve on that. Maybe a stronger pivot screw, bigger pivot screw. I don't know, but this blade does have the tendency of going to the side. Okay, so that's another thing to improve. Now, while I really like the lines of the knife itself, like I mean, look at this. It's smooth. It's just sexy. I mentioned that from my other video that the Kelly 3 is the ultimate gentleman's knife. I would not pass this by as also another awesome gentleman's knife, okay? Like, I mean, you wouldn't use this as a self-defense knife, probably not, simply because there's no jimping top or bottom. I mean, there's a bit of a jimping on the liner itself, but it's not, it's more cosmetic than functional. Like, if I designed the knife, I would have put jimping here, and maybe here, possibly here, you know, because the way you're gripping the knife is like so, or like this, right? So I mean, where most of your strength is gonna come from has no jimping. So this is pretty much a gentleman's knife. You can use this as a you know tactical knife or self-defense knife. Although although it's got a coated black finish, it looks tactical, but it's not. It really isn't. There's and look, the G10 here is, although very sexy, it's got like a very nice visual to it. It doesn't have much grip, you know. It's gonna get slippery when it's wet or bloody. So yeah, you don't really want to use this in a self-defense situation. The other thing is, you see on the you see the two screws here. These two screws are way back here, and there's a spacer here, and I don't know if you can see this. I can press the spacer down. Like it's got a bit of a flex in it. So why would you use a long spacer like this? Why wouldn't you just have the spacer, you know, this long? Or if you're really worried about the strength, you have one of the screws moved up to here. That would be ideal, you know. So right now it's a sort of a half open design, but you really don't have any strength in the mid back here. So why would you have a spacer here? It's kind of weird. I don't know. I just didn't like that. All right. So, and yeah, as you can see, I've used the knife a lot, and uh, I put a convex edge on it, and it really shines with the convex edge. I don't know why. Although it's a full flat grind, you know, it's supposed to work well with like just a standard V grind, but the convex edge really works for my tasks anyway. You know, cutting cardboard boxes, doing this and that. I mean, I've used this for everything. On the kitchen table, this was my steak knife for a while, and yeah, you know, doing carpentry, cutting carpets. I've used this a lot, and it's held up really well. Some people say the liner lock is weak. It's not. Like it locks up solid. There's no blade plate at all. Like up down. No, no. It locks up really solid. You know. And most of all, I just like the look of it. I don't care if you know it's not tactical at all. Like I haven't. I mean, with all the knives I have and I carried, I've never run into a situation where I had to use a knife. I mean, all you guys out there should avoid these situations as well. That's my suggestion. I mean, the knives are best to be used as a tool rather than a weapon. That's my take anyway. And the Lim's signature logo here is just so sexy. Yeah, too bad he passed away. He's designed quite a few very nice looking, very functional knives. So yeah, it's very sad that he's gone now. But his knife lives on. So I mean, I've used this a lot. I'll probably keep this and pass this on to my son or my daughter when they are old enough. So it's an awesome knife. You know, if you're looking for a gentleman's knife, you might want to consider this if you can still find them. They're getting harder and harder to find on the internet for some reason. I'm not sure if Benchmade actually discontinued this model here. Uh, it might have been, but yeah, grab one if you can. Knife Critics out.